Drew didn't show up to court and now he got a warrant out for his arrest. Yup. So if y'all are not all caught up, Drew owes hella money on child support to Arlita, and she took him to court and he never showed up. But she thinks that she saw Stephanie, but she's not 100% sure. But Drew was nowhere to be found.
So I made a post earlier, guys. I made a post earlier. But I'm flabbergasted right now. Because the girl that I thought I saw walked in, that looked like Stephanie, right? Remember I told you guys it looked like her walking in, right? Right? Y'all, hold on real quick. Hold on. Y'all, this was sent to me. This fool got a warrant. Wait. And then I did some digging. Hold on, because I'm mind blown right now. Because I really thought they went to court yesterday. Hold the fuck on. Hold on. And I'll show you what it's for. Hold on. Cite to appear. So this fool didn't appear. I was giving him grace. I thought he was going to appear. This was issued today, y'all. This was just sent to me by Care Bear. Care Bear sent this to me. It was posted on Facebook. I was really giving this man grace. I thought he showed up. I was like, okay, no. Y'all. Flabbergasted. I really thought that girl that walked in looked like her. Like I said, I was sitting on the camera. So there was a female that walked in that dressed like, that Boo Boo the Food. She dressed like Boo Boo the Food. I'm not gonna lie. And I thought they were there. However, because they told me that the orientation was at 1:15, so that's when I got on. There was a lot of people in the courtroom. I said this. Hold on. Let me come back. I'm gonna take this off.
Pull up a chair, sis, because this tea ain't just hot, it's lava. The internet's favorite messy couple, Drew and Stephanie Jenkins, are back in the spotlight, but this time, it's not just TikTok drama. It's the real deal. We're talking warrants, court dates, and a possible jail stint. Yes, Drew Jenkins is officially a wanted man in the state of Oregon, and if you think his queen Stephanie didn't have a hand in this mess, think again. Let's rewind to early April. Drew received a formal court order, not a text, not a DM, but a legal document summoning him to appear for a critical hearing in May. This wasn't a minor issue, babe, this was a high-stakes child support case involving his 12-year-old son, Deshaun, with his ex Ari. This wasn't about a parking ticket. This was about whether Drew would finally be held accountable after years of dodging his financial responsibilities as a father. The outcome could have changed everything: custody, jail time, the whole 9 yards. But what did Drew do with this golden opportunity to show up, take accountability, and maybe start doing right by his son? He ghosted. Flat out. No call. No lawyer. No explanation. He didn't even try to fake a family emergency or spin a half-hearted excuse. He simply vanished like the court date didn't exist, like he was untouchable. And Oregon? Baby, they were not having it. They didn't send a friendly reminder. They issued a full-on arrest warrant the moment he missed that hearing. Let's be clear, under Oregon law, failing to appear in court when you've been formally summoned isn't just careless, it's a Class A misdemeanor. That means Drew could now be facing up to a year in jail, and slapped with fines totaling over $6,000. And with zero income, no job, and a court history full of red flags? The judge might just throw the whole book at him.
So nails by Arlita, yeah, she was wrong. Wrong. Drew Jenkins did not show up for court, which means there is a warrant out for his arrest. Let's start taking some data. Let's start seeing how long it's gonna take before Stephanie Jenkins puts on a video on her Tickety Talk, basically talking about how he has some kind of ailment to get out of it again. As a matter of fact, if I had to give something, he has something, it would be, he's gonna pass it on to one of his children that has something, and they're gonna cite that as a reason, or it's gonna be like his mom or something that has some kind of ailment that prevents him from going to court, because he's ducking and dodging and ducking. That's what he does, okay? He will do anything besides just get a 9 to 5. If he has to make up a whole entire life and lie and go with it in videos, he will, but what he will not do is just own up and man up.
Now here's where things go from tragic to scandalous. Because standing right beside him through all of this mess is none other than Stephanie Jenkins, the woman who has proudly crowned Drew her king on every platform possible. She's been his loudest cheerleader, his emotional defense team, his TikTok PR manager. Every time Drew spirals, Stephanie pops up on camera with teary eyes and a shaky voice, blaming the system and begging for understanding. But the real question is, what exactly is Stephanie doing behind the scenes? Because let's be real, she knew about that court date. It wasn't a secret. And instead of encouraging him to stand up and face the consequences like a grown man, she stayed silent. Or worse, she may have helped him avoid it altogether. Why didn't she push him to show up for his son? Why didn't she call him out instead of covering for him? Let's not forget this isn't her first time doing damage control for Drew. Remember earlier this year? Another major court date, and boom, Drew suddenly has a seizure. How convenient. And who rushed to TikTok to share the dramatic, shaky-voiced update? Stephanie. She painted Drew as too sick, too vulnerable, too fragile to even think about stepping into a courtroom. It was giving daytime soap opera. And now, we're watching the sequel, but this time, with an arrest warrant and possible jail time on the line. And don't get it twisted, Drew isn't just some broke dad who fell on hard times. This man has never paid a cent of child support. He's already been found in contempt of court earlier this year for lying about his employment. The court has receipts, babe. So now, skipping a second hearing without a word? That's not just messy, it's downright defiant. The legal system sees him as someone who refuses to follow the rules, and judges do not like to be played.
Drew from the Brazilian Jenkins has just been served by the police for contempt of court. I saw a woman on TikTok say that the police were able to serve him with paperwork from his ex of his oldest son. So not the one that he has, the one that he hasn't seen since he was 5 years old. So he hasn't seen his son since he was 5 years old. His first baby mom found out where they were because of the train that Stephanie posted on her 1-minute vlog or whatever.
At first, Stephanie's followers bought into the fairy tale, this ride-or-die loyalty, this dramatic saga of a misunderstood man and the woman who stood by him. But lately, the cracks are impossible to ignore. The very same fans who once hyped her up are now flooding her comment sections with side eyes and disbelief. Their support is shifting into skepticism, and fast. Because let's be real, if Stephanie really wants to save a Drew, TikTok rants and shaky phone videos won't cut it anymore. This is no longer about online drama, it's a real-life legal mess, and the next chapter might just be written behind bars. If Drew gets arrested, it won't be the system swooping in to save him, it'll be Stephanie, scrambling to post bail. And where is that money coming from? Her TikTok hustle, the very app she's been grinding on to keep her family afloat, while Drew contributes nothing. And it gets worse. If Drew does get bailed out and pulls another disappearing act, that bail money? Gone forever. Not borrowed. Not delayed. Just vanished. All to protect a man who has never once proven he can handle accountability. Stephanie's basically tossing her coins into a burning trash can, praying it'll turn into a miracle. Every time she bets on Drew, she loses, and yet she keeps doubling down. It's a loop of false hope, blind faith, and emotional exhaustion. And honestly, he could have avoided all of this. If Drew had just shown up to court, even with empty pockets and no job, the system might have cut him some slack. Oregon has programs, real ones, designed to help parents who are falling behind. He could have been matched with job training, been placed on a payment plan that reflected his situation. All it would have taken was a little effort. A sign he was trying. But instead, he ghosted. And here's the gut punch. Ari, his ex, and the mother of his son, thought he was finally showing up. She saw someone walk into the courthouse who looked like Stephanie and believed, truly believed, that maybe, just maybe, Drew had finally chosen to be present. That he was going to stand up like a father and take responsibility, but it wasn't him. Just another illusion. Another false hope. And while Drew disappeared from the courtroom, Stephanie stayed online, spinning the same narrative. But baby, the court doesn't care about online stories. It cares about facts. And Drew has none. He didn't ask for help, didn't file a modification, didn't even attempt to explain his financial struggles. He acted like the entire legal process, and his own child, didn't exist.
Drew Jenkins skipped his court hearing for child support by saying that he had a seizure, and you can see he says that he didn't get conscious until he was at the hospital. And then Stephanie last night posted a 10-minute video, and she talks about her husband interacting with the paramedics at the shelter. How was he interacting with the paramedics if he didn't have consciousness till he got to the hospital? The littlest did not fall off a bed and get stitches. It's a fake account. You guys gotta like read the usernames, but there are so many fake accounts popping up right now. So in Stephanie's 10-minute video, she starts it out with the sweetest Christian voice and Drew had a seizure. Goes on to call Arlita jealous of their virality.
So Ari did what she had to do. She took legal action. Not out of spite, but out of necessity. Because Drew didn't just leave her holding the financial bag, he left her carrying the full weight of parenting, of school decisions, of emotional support, of everything. And no mother should have to do that alone. Meanwhile, what was Drew doing? Trying to turn social media into a shortcut. Instead of getting a job, he launched a TikTok account with the goal of hitting 10K followers so he could join the creator fund. He dangled a deep personal story as bait, hoping curiosity would earn him quick cash. He truly believed followers could replace responsibility. But the plan blew up, his account was flagged, then banned. So what did he do? Made a second account. Same desperation. New name. Let's be clear, TikTok clout doesn't count as income in court. The judge doesn't want vibes. They want pay stubs, W-2s, something that shows real, consistent effort, not likes. Not views. Proof. And Drew. He's got none of it. Since Drew was legally ordered to pay child support for his 12-year-old son, not a single dollar has come through. No attempts, no explanations, not even a simple message. Complete radio silence. And it's not like he tried to negotiate or find a compromise, he simply acted as if the court order didn't exist, as if his own child didn't exist. At its core, this wasn't about bitterness or revenge for Stephanie, it was about survival. So how did Drew respond when the court stepped in? He completely disappeared. No court appearances, no lawyer showing up on his behalf, no effort to clarify or resolve anything. Instead, he doubled down on ignoring the whole situation, treating legal notices like spam messages he could easily dismiss. He had multiple chances to meet the court halfway, to call and discuss a payment plan, to ask for more time, but he threw every opportunity away. It wasn't just that he refused to pay, he showed zero remorse, no effort, no maturity. In doing so, he sent a very clear message to the court, to Stephanie, and to his son Deshaun, he simply doesn't care. This isn't just irresponsible, it's outright defiance, disrespect, and dangerous. Dangerous because it signals to the court that this isn't a one-time mistake, but a consistent pattern of shirking responsibility, pushing burdens onto others, and avoiding accountability. Patterns like these rarely go unpunished. Now Drew is facing the consequences head-on, and the only person to blame is himself.
Y'all, oh my God, okay, wait a minute, wait a minute, hold on, whoa, wait a minute, I gotta let the dog out. What, wait a minute, okay, so I made a post earlier, guys, I made a post earlier, but I'm flabbergasted right now, because the girl that I thought I saw walked in, that looked like Stephanie, right? Remember I told you guys, it looked like her walking in, right? Y'all, hold on real quick. Hold on. Y'all, this was sent to me. This fool got a warrant. Wait, and then I did some digging. Hold on, because I'm mind blown right now, because I really thought they went to court yesterday. Hold the fuck on. Hold on. And I'll show you what it's for. Hold on. Cite to appear. So this fool didn't appear. I was giving him grace. I thought he was going to appear. This was issued today, y'all. This was just sent to me by Care Bear. Care Bear sent this to me. It was posted on Facebook. I was really giving this man grace. I thought he showed up. I was like, okay, nope. Y'all. Flabbergasted. I really thought that girl that walked in looked like her. Like I said, I was sitting on the camera. So there was a female that walked in that dressed like, that Boo Boo the Foo. She dressed like Boo Boo the Foo. I'm not going to lie. And I thought they were there. However, because they told me that the orientation was at 1:15, so that's when I got on. There was a lot of people in the courtroom. I said this. Hold on. Let me come back. I'm going to take this off. So I literally thought that they were there. Now, mind you, the video turned off. I tried to get back on. So court must have ended around like 2:30 or something like that. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. I'm not going to hear everything, but I heard what I needed to hear, what the process was for. This man is out here. He posted videos. Like, he good, right? He good. Yo, I ain't even got all my work clothes yet. I ain't even, wait a minute.
Meanwhile, Stephanie is left alone in a cramped motel room with 5 children, struggling to hold everything together while Drew possibly heads to jail. Financially, not much changes for her. She's been the one supporting the household anyway, stretching every dollar and hustling through TikTok just to keep food on the table. But emotionally, this hits differently. It's another heavy burden added to her already full plate. She now has to handle parenting 5 kids solo, managing their schedules, their emotions, and their needs, all while keeping up appearances for the internet. The biggest, most heartbreaking shift here is what this means for Deshaun. He's already been struggling in this unstable environment, stuck between a father who refuses to show up and Stephanie, who isn't legally or emotionally equipped to be his full guardian. With Drew potentially going to jail, Deshaun becomes even more vulnerable. He's not just another kid in that motel room, he's the one most likely to be overlooked, dismissed, or even treated like an outsider in a family where he's not biologically related. That emotional weight can be crushing, especially for a child who's already been denied stability, safety, and the presence of his biological mother. This situation isn't just about Stephanie having to keep the household afloat, it's about what happens when a child like Deshaun, who's already been sidelined, loses the one parent standing between him and complete displacement. Deshaun's biological mother, Desiree, has been quietly, and sometimes publicly, fighting for custody for a long time. It hasn't been an easy road. Drew has made it nearly impossible by dodging legal actions, ignoring court responsibilities, and refusing to acknowledge Desiree's role in Deshaun's life. She has tried to step in before, but Drew always blocked her, sometimes with silence, sometimes with legal loopholes. Now, with Drew potentially facing jail time, the tide is finally turning in Desiree's favor. She can file for emergency custody, and this time, the odds are stacked on her side. Here's why: Desiree is Deshaun's biological mother, which legally gives her the strongest claim. She has the fundamental right to custody, especially now that Drew faces incarceration. Beyond biology, she has been present and making an effort for years, which courts consider crucial when deciding what's best for the child. Deshaun has been living in a crowded motel with 5 other kids and zero stability. Desiree, meanwhile, has a home, a stable job, and a room ready for him. She can offer the safety and structure Deshaun desperately needs. This isn't just about legal rights, it's about emotional security and physical well-being. Legally, since no formal custody orders are in place and only informal arrangements exist, Desiree has a chance to start fresh. She can file for custody based on Drew's absence and finally give her son a consistent, supportive home. Sure. Here's a fresh, detailed, and juicy rephrase of that passage. Drew's silence speaks volumes to the judge. It reveals exactly what kind of man he's decided to be. And even if by some miracle he manages to scrape together enough money for bail, don't expect the court to go easy on him. They've seen this pattern before, and this time, they're likely to come down even harder. Everything is unraveling fast. The consequences aren't just looming, they're crashing down on him. No job to show in court, no steady income to support his family, no legal strategy, and now, potentially losing custody of his son. It's like watching a fragile house of cards fall apart, each card representing a missed opportunity.